The recession isn't coming, it is here. And so today I'm at Lee Canyon in the snow, and we're going to talk about all of that. When I talk about recession, a lot of it has to do with psychology. How are people budgeting? How are people feeling about their finances? And I've asked in a poll, how do you stick to your monthly budget? And kind of crazy because 57% say, yep, I stick to my budget every month. And 15% said I given up, nothing left to budget. 20% said I try, but I fail most months. And 8% said I have no idea where my money goes. And this is where we're at in the US economy. People just don't feel like they're getting ahead, and sticking to a monthly budget is super important when you're trying to make it. And so let's look at the delinquency rates across the board are up. Car payment defaults, credit card balances, auto payments, mortgage payments, rent payments. So I got a few things right here. Credit card balances on average now $6,500. Auto payments is about $750, and rent mortgage payments about $2,000. So just right there, you're looking at $3,500, $4,000 without even eating or doing anything fun. This is just a necessity, and this is not how a healthy economy looks. This is how people are defaulting and just not making it. And so I'm going to show you a clip here of what is going on and how people are literally holding on by dear life onto their last few dollars.
I honestly have no idea what to do anymore. I'm sitting here, it's almost midnight. I've been scrolling for hours, just looking for jobs, like extra jobs. I work two jobs right now, and I feel like I can't even afford, what I'm trying to pay for. My rent's so expensive. I go to the grocery store today, I get bread, peanut butter, jelly, and milk, and it comes out to almost $18. $18 for sandwich ingredients without any protein and milk. Um, I mean, my phone bill's expensive, gas is expensive, and I'm just like, man, I'm a 28-year-old. I'm out here in Oregon, and I honestly don't even know what to do. Something needs to change. Something must change very, very fast, or I honestly I don't know if I'll be able to survive this. I've talked to many people; they're in the same boat. So I want to use this page as a place for people to come support each other and just hopefully get through this together, because I know it's not just me. We're in this together. It's gonna be okay, but we really got to ride this out together.
$18 for 4 items, probably not organic, and it is just $20. This is where the US economy is. This is a real consumer, real voice, voicing his opinion, saying that this cannot continue. I cannot pay $20 for 4 items at a grocery store. And this is just heartbreaking. And when you have to budget to survive, and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to budget $20 for a sandwich item? And he's right, there's no protein, there's no liquor, there's nothing else. That's why Gen Z, we've been seeing it. Liquor, they don't drink that because it's just too expensive. They don't drink wine, beers. They're saying we can barely afford to scrape by. What are we even thinking? And so people are just drowning to survive. And it's not just the irresponsibility of people, it is just that everything gotten so expensive. And when I look at the expensiveness of everything in Las Vegas, you've seen it, and you heard the news that they just racked up the fees. They nickel and dime you anywhere. You have healthcare fees, you have resort fees, you have all these other fees that are just adding up, and people are fed up. So we are in pure survival mode. People are borrowing money to delay the collapse because their paycheck doesn't cover it anymore. So they got to go out, borrow, buy now, pay later, just to make the next month grocery store run, to make the next week grocery store run. They put it on Afterpay, Klarna, everything else. And on top of that, we have these ballers, these fake rich guys who say, let me just spend a little bit more money. I don't care. If you haven't seen my last video of this other woman basically saying, you know what, I don't care. I just gonna doom spend because there's no end in sight for me. So I'm just gonna go out and spend it all.
I am financially irresponsible. I am. It's just, I don't have a savings.
Because if I'm not gonna do it, I might pass away anyways, or I might ditch the country and then be gone. And so this is what we're seeing. We're seeing the collapse for so many people in front of their eyes. And these are 20, 30-year-olds. And so what happens is those should be your prime years of investing because of compound interest. And this is what Albert Einstein said about compound interest. It is so important you start off investing, saving for retirement early, because if you're not going to do that early, it's going to be really hard catching up. And if you're in your 50s and 60s and you're like, man, I can't retire, and you're seeing the new generations being like, man, I never retire, it is just a doom situation. And one of these things is people are now starting to come out and say, I can't afford this, I can't afford this. And there's a trend going on that they're not ashamed anymore of calling it out. They're not afraid of saying, I can't do it anymore. I am so done. I am so fed up. And it is just ridiculous, these prices and everything. And we're seeing more and more of these videos about telling people that they cannot afford it. And if you saw his video, you saw him being in a nice house, looking at a nice backdrop. And so if you're his buddy and you go over there, he's not going to tell you, oh my gosh, straight out the gate, I'm struggling, I can't do it. No, it is something that a lot of people are ashamed, and so they're not going to say it. But if you like content like this and you want to support my channel and you want to be up to trend on the news, how the economy is going, please give me a like and subscribe. That would really help out my channel. And now, I always talk about the keeping up with the Joneses, but this is how it looks like when you're going to the mall, you're going to the outlets, and you see people just with handbags. It's cheap luxury, 96 months financed, buy now, pay later, credit card payment minimums, Instagram pressure. Good credit doesn't equal wealth. And I have to say that so many times that just because you have a $200,000 credit limits across all credit cards doesn't mean you actually have the means or the bank account to pay for that. And so it costs a few $100s to look rich, and then you're in debt forever because you keep rolling it into the next month. You keep rolling, so you keep rolling 1 month's debt into the next one, and all of a sudden it becomes a lifestyle. And this is super, super dangerous. And I've been looking online a little bit, scrolling, and there's a new term that's making the round. It's called nillionaire. It's not millionaire, it's called nillionaire. And guess what a nillionaire is? It is somebody that has absolutely nothing. And this is what people are calling themselves. I'm a nillionaire because I have absolutely nothing. And so I've been talking about restaurants foreclosures. I've been talking about auto repos. I've been talking about wages can't keep up. And this is absolutely brutal. And so if you're like, man, I can't make it, I can't make it, there's still people that are making it in this economy, but it takes so much sacrifice. It takes so much willpower. It takes risk. It takes credit. It takes everything under the sun. And so let's look at this guy who I had on my channel before because he was talking about how how his restaurant is doing. So I have him basically come on and appear again in one of my videos, basically telling how much he has going on.
Sunny here, owner of Kaisen Sushi in Houston, Texas. It has been 1 week since I posted a really unexpectedly crazy viral video that got over 2 million views in 2 days. And I just finished paying a bunch of bills tonight. And as you can see on the screen, this is what my bank account looks like after today's stuff. And it's going to actually creep lower tomorrow because there is another bill that's scheduled to draw from my account tomorrow. Um, this is just what life is like right now as a business owner of a small ghost kitchen that puts out a lot of sushi. Um, a few things. Number one, and today was rough. Today was freaking rough. I'll get into that later. But for now, I want you to keep in mind a couple numbers. Number one, I don't have any accounts outside of these other than a Roth IRA and an automatic investment account in Robinhood that I think totals like $600 and about I think like $35,000 or $36,000 to my main dry goods and frozen good provider, JFC, who also provides me all my Japanese fish because they are the best. So yeah, I've got like 70 or 80K in outstanding net 30 invoices, which sounds like a lot. It is a lot, but we go through a lot. Those two numbers are just from like the last 45 days alone of operating.
So you're seeing it. He's basically saying that he has another $30,000, $40,000 in outstanding net invoices. And this is what it is happening. If you're a small business owner, you are on the hook for payroll. You're on the hook for rent. You're on the hook for labor. You're on the hook for all these fees. And now he's like, okay, I have another invoice, 30, 40, $80,000 that I got to pay, come up with. And this is the life of an entrepreneur. You saw the bank account, few $1,000s, but man, it is brutal. It is relentless. Think about how $2,000, $3,000 in your bank account, how much anxiety that gives you when you're going to have a, an $80,000 net dirty pay. And you're like, man, I need to make it. I really need to go out and make some money. So for these people that say, there's no upwards mobility, you can't do it, and you still can. And this is what it takes, because his sushi restaurant is popping. His sushi restaurant is going off the chart, but he has these bills. All it takes is a few weeks of downturn, of people not coming. People are not going to really show up because of influencers or whatever. You've seen it, how kind of restaurants kind of go out and die because of all of that. And then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, life doesn't look so good anymore. And it is a lot of risk. And so if you're thinking about opening up one, man, there's personal guarantees. If you watch these influencers that say, oh, just take out a loan with your LLC and just take out some cars and it's all in the LLC names, everything, that is all BS. Those games probably used to work 30, 40 years ago. Nowadays, every lease you sign, and I did it with my frozen yogurt store. I did that I had to close during COVID because self-serve, nobody wanted to do that. And so what happens is that they'll make you sign a personal guarantee. You're still on the hook after your lease is up, or you can't make it, they'll come after you personally. So kind of do a fast cash grab. Those days are over. And now restaurants, man, it's brutal, but you can still make it. And this is why I say you got to figure out a side hustle. I've been talking to people that had pressure washing businesses that said, hey, I got my stuff paid off. I'm doing quite okay now, and I'm not in a lot of debt. And so I can kind of scrape by and do it all. And there's been people with restaurants talking about, hey, how do you do it? And how did you do it? And trying to build a community of people actually trying to make it and what worked for them during downturns in the market. Because I'm telling you, if you've not been to 2008, depending on when you were born, and millennial and Gen Zers, it is brutal. I am telling you, it is gonna be rough. And this is why I always tell people, get an emergency fund ready. Make sure that you have enough money to cover some of the rent in advance if you have it, so you can save that little paycheck, a few dollars every week or every paycheck you put away, so you can budget, so you can literally go out and say, hey, I got a little safety net, and if something happens to you, you are not gonna be in trouble. Because the last thing I want you to do is lose everything because some life event happened and you cannot keep it going. And this is what I tell Americans: you gotta be willing to take calculated risk. Make sure you got a big enough safety net so it can cover you for a few months if shit hits the fan. And people have been like, I'm living debt free, I'm living better now than ever. And there's also people in my comment section have been saying all the time, oh, I couldn't do it, I leveraged myself in 2008 and I learned my lesson. I've been broke now and I'm never going back to poverty. And so make sure that this is what you're gonna be doing: saving up, trying to save. And one of the tragic things about all that, what I'm saying is, if you're not gonna go out, you're not gonna support the guy with the restaurant, you basically fired him. So what does that mean? That means he cannot pay his bills and he might be stuck with a $70,000, $80,000 fish bill, or whatever he got going on with those $80,000, because it is so expensive in the US to do business. And yeah, you gotta make sure you have a financial plan. Make sure you got everything lined up so you're not gonna lose everything when you have a few bad months. But yeah, this is life in the US, where you can make an insane amount of money, but a lot of people fail. And I think more people fail than succeed. That's true. But what is key is that you never ever stop trying. So if you're watching this and you're like, man, I just don't have enough money, I'm barely scraping by, please download one of these apps that round up your purchases. And so once you're going to start rounding up those purchases, at least you're invested in something. And then after you weather the storm out and you're like, you know what, this recession is done, we're good. You have a few dollars and you're like, man, now I'm doing pretty decent. Because if you're going to start investing in your 30s or 40s, you need a lot more money than you do when you're doing it in your 20s. Because compound interest, like I said, it can work great against you. It can work great for you, but it can also work greatly against you. So make sure that whatever you're going to be doing is you make a plan for yourself and make sure that you can somewhat stick to it. So make sure that 80% of your choices, or even 95% of the choices, are good financial choices. And if those 5% are bad and they're not big, bad mistakes like going out financing cars, you should be all right and you can weather out the storm and do all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, this was it. Kind of like an improv video up in Lee Canyon, Las Vegas. This is about 30-40 minutes from my house. Snowfall, and we're seeing it. It is just crazy. So for people that are saying, oh, Las Vegas, no snow. Yeah, you can drive 20-30 minutes. You're up in the snow, up in the woods. It looks like Tahoe if you ever been to Tahoe or you've seen pictures. So super great, super cool place. I am pretty cold, so my brain was kind of fogged up with cold because I haven't worn a jacket in I don't know how long, but it's a cool video, kind of different background. And yeah, so I was like, man, I'm starting to feel my finger be cold. And yeah, so if this wasn't such a great video with topic or with my brain thoughts, it has been cold. My nose is cold and it is just, I think it is like 30, 35. No, I think it's 29 out. The wind's kind of going a little bit. And I do not have the proper gear anymore. Since I left Switzerland, I was like, I am done. I can't do it. And yeah, but now for you guys, I was like, let's make a video, get back to the snow. And yeah, so this was kind of it for this video. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.